Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Therapy Craft. We are just loading back into the world here, so we will give it a second to load. I have not moved from where we were at previously. You can see it's still loading in. We got a nice larger cliff off in the distance there. I don't know, it's that way too. But I'm feeling like going over that way today. From last video, we are going to just continue to adventure a little bit. We have just a little bit of time here that we want to take a look around and see what's out here. Get few more berries. Actually, I'm gonna just smack down these berry bushes because I don't need to keep them around since we probably won't be staying here. So far we have yet to find any good or really interesting, I should say, any really interesting terrain. This is, I think, the first piece of really interesting stuff here. This is a very interesting cliff face. I really like this. Got a nice V right there. I like that it's so open into this little valley here. But still not a super interesting space, I will say. Let's go to the top and see what we can find. Alright, oh my gosh, this is something interesting. Look at that. Wow, look at this cliff. Some wolves down there. See some snow on the trees over there. Should we risk it? And we made it. Interesting. Little cave here. Let's get some air here. And wow, look at that. This is cool. Man, a whole underwater ravine. This is actually pretty cool. Okay. Interesting. Probably not where we're going to settle, but interesting nonetheless. Okay, so today's video, I thought we could talk about the fact that I can't jump up here, huh? No, I thought we could talk about depression. This is a really big issue throughout the world, especially right now, but in the United States. The U.S. has some fairly high rates of depression, and this is quite concerning because it's not something that we would really want to see a lot of, obviously, because it means people are suffering, right? People are just not doing well, and that's not really what we want. We want people to be thriving. We want people to feel like they can be successful. And with depression, what typically comes is people feeling like they just can't do anything, that they are worthless, that they shouldn't exist, and it is a very difficult mentality for many people to get out of. It's, it's not something that can be easily dealt with. And for some people, it, is something that they struggle to deal with over a number of years, right? I have had clients who have dealt with depression for 10 years. And this is more severe than I would say most people dealing with depression would have it. But for certain people, this is how it is. And for a long time, there have been just a few ways that people treat depression. The most successful one being cognitive behavioral therapy. This is a little cool pond area. But even that is not as successful as we would hope it to be. A lot of people have found relief with it, and yet a lot of people are still suffering. And there are medications out there that work for some people. For some people, they work amazingly. I've had clients who get on medication and it's like flipping a switch. Things change, and look, this is how I'm supposed to be. This is who I'm supposed to be, essentially, which is fantastic. If the medication can alter the chemicals in your brain to make them work how they're supposed to function how they're supposed to, that is fantastic. But there are definitely a lot of people for whom medications do not work, or should I say traditional medications. There's a lot of research going on around some various different drugs to see how well they work. One of the ones that I find most interesting is psilocybin. I think this is a very promising area for a lot of different mental health issues. So I'm interested to see how that plays out, especially at the federal level and state level and things like that. Not just for individual persons or in clinical trials and things like that. Oh man, we are coming out into a really nice area here. This is I like these trees and this nice forest. This mountain over here looks like some nice terrain. Holy cow. Do you see what I see? I mean, this is nice, but look at how big that is. Let's go that way. So, depression. A lot of people deal with depression, and yet there's this idea that if you have depression, you have to just deal with it, just get over it. And I think this sentiment comes mostly from people who have not dealt with clinical depression, right? These are folks who have maybe dealt with either no depression in their lives. They've had periods of being sad. Everyone does, but they've never really had depression, right? And these people think, well, I got over it, so you should be able to get over it too. And this just isn't the case. For many people, it's not just about getting over it. It's about having to solve an issue and get through something. And I feel like this is what a lot of people miss, is that, depression is not just a simple fix for a lot of people. It can take time, and that's okay. Again, a lot of mental health related issues take time to deal with, and we have to be able to give ourselves time to deal with them, right? Some coal here, but I'm not going to get that. We are good on coal for now. Man, very, very interesting terrain generation. Okay, we're going to go up here. I'm kind of looking not just at terrain generation, but also kind of for a village. I'd like to be at least somewhat close to one, although I will say this area is real nice. Okay, we'll go that way. I want to kind of go back that way too. Don't fall in any holes. So, we've got these people who are detractors, right? They don't think depression is real, or they think that maybe you're just overblowing how much it's affecting you. Oh, that's a really great area. And so they minimize, right? They minimize how much it impacts you because they don't believe that it's impacting you that much. They don't think that it should be, or that it's kind of a mind over matter kind of thing, because that's how it worked for them. And that's just not always the case, as we know. So, if you are someone who deals with depression, what are some things that you can do, right? This is the ever important question. What can I do? And realistically, it's going to depend on where you're at in your progress, where you're at kind of in dealing with depression and living with depression. And I will say, we're talking about depression, right? Not suicide. A lot of times people conflate the two, even counselors. They kind of feel as though if you say you're depressed, that means you're having thoughts of suicide, but that's not what we're talking about here today. While they do kind of go together, they are somewhat correlated, right? They're not synonymous. So just because you're depressed does not mean that you're going to have thoughts of suicide or be suicidal. And just because you're suicidal does not mean that you're going to be depressed, that you are depressed. So just, we want to be very clear on that. But if we are talking about depression, right, what are some things we can do? So to start, I would say if you are someone who deals with depression in cycles, right? So it comes and goes, and you're never too sure if you're going to be able to deal with it, but you manage to, and somehow can make it through. What I would do is I would take some time, see a counselor, right? Because that's going to help in your endeavors. But take some time to think about and think on how you're dealing with this, right? So how did I get through that? Because I got through it, but how? What did I do? What happened when I was feeling bad? What happened then that made me feel better? Or what happened around the time that I started feeling better? And so you can kind of think about, okay, what are the things that I can put in my toolbox to help me deal with this? And those are important to have. Not everybody has them. Not everybody has a lot even, but maybe 1, 2, 3 things that you can do that would be very helpful for you in those moments. That's what I would say to start with, and that may take some time to think about. It may take you going through another cycle or two just to be able to figure that out, and that's okay. Be easy on yourself, be gentle on yourself, and know that you can get through this. People do get through this. It is not a forever thing. So, if you've got that, do your best to leverage it. Counseling can help, right? A therapist is going to be able to help identify these positives and help get you to a place where you can utilize them effectively in your daily life. So that, I think, would be the first important step there. Now, for those people who tend to deal with consistent depression, and by this I mean depression that doesn't really ever seem to go away. You're dealing with it 24/7, or what feels like 24/7, without really any moments or times where you are feeling better, right? For these folks, I would definitely say therapy will be a good place to start. This is because a counselor is going to help you walk through some of this stuff. Depending on the clinic you go to or the person that you're seeing, you may be able to get medication to help you get to a place where you are a little bit more stable, and you can start to think about positives and things that would be more beneficial, right? So having someone walk with you through this journey is going to be much more helpful than trying to go it alone in this case. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help and trying to get some support from others, whether that be a counselor, a therapist, or whether that be friends, family, or the like. If you have supportive people around you, you're much more likely to do better in the long run than if you don't have supportive people around you. That is just how I think everything is. And so if you have to or need to get someone on your side, a therapist is a great way to do that. So that would be step number one. Call, reach out for help, and then start looking into what you can do to feel better. And what do I mean when I say feel better? Because that, for some people, is hard to understand. So when I say, you feel better, I don't mean you're going to be happy, right? Happiness is the other side of the spectrum from depression. So what we're talking about is trying to get back to neutral, just a place where you're not feeling depressed. Because happy moments are going to come and go. No one is happy all of the time. That is part of life. But yeah, trying to find something to get you back to that neutral space, to the point where you're feeling better about what you're doing, about yourself in general. And going from there to just see what you can do at that point. So some things that can be very helpful are going to be things that are very similar to what I mentioned in the last video for dealing with anxiety, but distractions, right? So what are some things that you can do to distract yourself to distract your senses from what is going on. That is where I would start, right? So trying to get those distractions, trying to find those things, because those can help in the moment, right? I'm dealing with this depressed mood right now. What can I do? Let's, do X, Y, or Z. And I can't tell you what's going to work for you. But what I can say is it's not one size fits all, right? So you are going to have different outcomes. You're going to have different reactions. You're going to have different things that are effective than someone else. And that also means that instead of slamming your head against the wall, trying to make something work, trying to fit it into this spot where it doesn't really fit, what we want to do is we want to say, okay, I've given this a fair shot, but it's not working for me. Let's move on to something else. Let's move on and figure out what I can do that is going to be effective. And so if you need some ideas, if that's where you are right now and you just want some ideas as to, okay, what kind of things can I do? Hop on the computer and Google coping skills for depression, coping skills CBT, coping skills DBT. That's the one that I feel is very effective, and it's typically what I use in my practice with my own clients, because it is very straightforward, very simple, and easy to kind of see, okay, this is what we're doing, this is what's trying to be accomplished, and it functions off the same idea, right, of you can't fit a square peg into a round hole. If it doesn't work for you, move on. Do something different. And that's one of the things I really like about DBT. But yeah, looking at those coping skills, things that you can do to get yourself back to that neutral point. Because, there are positives, there are negatives, there's going to be good times and bad times, and the things that go along with them. And trying to find a way to deal with that, to get to a place where you can manage, is important. Oh, okay, so we are going to climb to the top of this hill here, just so we can kind of take a look out and see what is around us. I'm liking this area right here with all of these big cliffs. Look at this lovely, lovely area. Oh, okay, so let's just poke around a little bit and see what we can see. We're on the top of a mountain right now. There's tons of flowers. Ooh, fell into a hole. It's a beautiful spot. I'm hoping that there might be a village around here somewhere, but it's kind of not looking like it. It's kind of looking like we're just up here. There's another mountain right over there, another big old cliff. Look down into the valley here. Lots of fog today. Oh, man. Not seeing a village. It's interesting. I like to be near to a village, but I don't want to be in a village. I don't want the villagers coming and going in my space. That's just not preferable to me. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to wrap it up for today. Man, I really like this plains up here. It's just a wide open area. We're going to wrap it up for today. And tomorrow's video, hopefully tomorrow's video, but in the next video, we are going to continue adventuring, I think, out this way. I think we're going to go out this way, and just see what we can see. Just go a little ways, and if we can't find anything, I think then we'll come back and hang out up here. It looks like there's a mushroom over there, but yeah, we'll adventure off this way and see if we can find a close village. If not, we might just build up here, because I am really liking this area right up here. It's nice and flat, but has a lot going on around it. So we might build up here, or not, who knows. Oh, looks like there's a ruined portal down there. Well, we will have to go check that out in the next video. So yeah, that will do it for today's video. I will see you guys in the next one.